Make sure nobody knows. Oh, jeez.
I know, mine was way down too.
That sucks.
Hey. I made that decision.
Our apologies. We're coming out of a closed session, so just give us about 2 or 3 minutes to get situated. We'll be on with the agenda. Good evening. I would like to call the October 27th board meeting to order and ask that you join in a moment of silence. Thank you. And now would you please rise and join in the Pledge of Allegiance?
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. And now we'll have Director Cox read our mission statement.
The Waterloo schools will set the standard for urban education by ensuring that every student is given the comprehensive support and diverse experiences needed to graduate with a diploma and a plan.
Thank you, Director Cox. The next item on our agenda is information from individuals and delegations. This is the opportunity where those who wish to address the school board may do so. Please keep your comments to 3 minutes or less. Mrs. Arndorfer will hold up a yellow sign when you have 30 seconds remaining and a red card when your time has expired. At that time, I will ask you to conclude your public remarks. Please also keep your comments respectful and constructive. We're all here with the goal of trying to help our students. Please also avoid criticizing the job performance of specific employees of the school district. Personnel matters are confidential and must be handled through the proper channels. Finally, we provide this as an opportunity for public comments, but it is generally not a back and forth discussion, especially with items not on our agenda. At times, we'll try to help with information before or after the meeting, but we have to proceed with our board meeting agenda items. With that, I invite anyone who wishes to address the board to step forward, make sure the green light is on, and start by stating your name and address. Going once, going twice. So, all right. That concludes our information from individuals and delegations. The next item on our agenda is the advanced programs update. And oh, right, I didn't even have to call you up. Good evening. Good evening. We have our own Sharice Ortman, coordinator of secondary curriculum and advanced programs, to give us an update. And this is just for information only.
Okay, I'm going to back up. This is our annual update for advanced programs in the Waterloo schools. And tonight I do have a brief slideshow, but the people you really want to talk to and get to know are behind me. So you can see we have three young scholars who are taking college classes in the Waterloo schools, as well as two of my, one at East High and one at West High, advanced programs teachers. Mr. Matt Tracy, he teaches IB, AP, and ELP at East High, and Emily Eisenman, and she teaches concurrent FOC at East and West. She teaches IB, and she teaches twice exceptional seminar. So two of our heavy hitters in the advanced pathways. I want you to have time to talk to them, and I'll give you a brief update. You do have an attached document, and I recently printed off and updated the demographics in advanced programs. I know you always want to see that, how that breaks down, so I'll have Pam bring that around for you. All right, as you can see, Waterloo Schools offers 78 various college options. We have the International Baccalaureate, 12 options, advanced placement, 8 options, post-secondary enrollment, which are our UNI classes. Most of the time those students go to campus. They're ready to be on a university campus. We have 9. Concurrent liberal arts, those are our semester-long options. We have 17. And concurrent CTE, we have 32. Also this year, I'm very proud to say it's the first time we've had Bucksbaum early entrance. So we have a 16-year-old Waterloo Schools student who is attending University of Iowa full-time this fall. Yay! Pretty cool, right? You guys can clap. So this is a great update that I wanted to share with all of you and wanted to be proud of. Waterloo West High School is in the top 11% of best high schools in Iowa. And what I did is I shared with you how we get to that. And I highlighted the college readiness and the college curriculum breadth, which is 40%. Those are students, the number of seniors taking AP or IB courses. And of those exams, for AP, how many got 3, 4, 5, and in IB, how many had 4, 5, 6, or 7 or higher. So that is 40% of how we get that criteria. The other one that I'm proud of is the state assessment performance, how aggregated scores on state assessments compare with U.S. news expectations, given the proportions of students who are Black, Hispanic, and from low income. That really parlays with what Jared Smith shared about how our, even though it looks like, if you look at our scores, when you compare it against other low income school districts, we are above that. And that is 20% of where that comes from. And we were really high. I think we were like 13 in the state on that. So that's a big round of applause. But I wanted to show you they're ranked 36 out of 323 Iowa schools. That's a big deal. So very proud of that accolade this year. International Baccalaureate update. We are the only IB World Diploma program in the state of Iowa. Very proud of that. I have, of course, Ms. Shea here, who is our IB coordinator. We, last year, for students who did the full IB diploma, that means all IB classes, the valedictorian ended up going to Stanford. He received a Questbridge scholarship, full ride, over $400,000 by the time you add flight and hotel stay to travel back and forth with his family to visit campus. And then, let me move off of this. And then our salutatorian, who is also a full IB diploma program student, she went to Mount Holyoke in Massachusetts, and she ended up with $40,000 for the 21st Century Scholarship. And if you're not familiar with, that's one of the sister schools out east, and those were created when the Ivy Leagues were men only. So these became the women only, the sister colleges. IB diploma stats, all of our students end up with the honors diploma. You can see 80% end up with the biliteracy seal. We had 99 exams last year, And you can see that we are at 76% end up with a 4 or higher. And the world average is very close to that. So we're really proud of those stats. IB enrollment for this year, a lot of you asked that question. We're up. So we have 142 students taking one or more IB classes, and we're up from last year's 128. And the full diploma, which I think we have a full diploma candidate with us tonight. They take all IB classes. That's up from 40, it's up to 43 from 27 students last year. So just kind of give them feedback. Yeah.
What defines world? You say we're the only IB world.
In the state of Iowa,
Yeah.
we are the only district that's gone through the authorization process at both of our high schools to receive IB World status. So after 5 years of offering IB, the IB World organization does a review to ensure that you're meeting their standards. And part of that is students taking courses and increasing your exam scores.
So why haven't other districts done that?
Well, it just depends. We started this, there was a consortium about 12, 13 years ago, and we wanted to look for more opportunities for those kids that fit. I mean, you can talk to some of the students on why IB, but why we wanted something for that tier of kids who really wanted that challenge, who were going on to 4-year plus. Many of them may be seeking out premier colleges, historically black colleges, Ivy League opportunities, and we wanted to give something for every kid.
But the depth of the, my question is the depth of the program any different if it's world or not? And I'm hearing no, it's not. It's just a matter of documenting you've done it for 5 years.
Well, if you don't meet that status, they drop your authorization. So it's a big deal. It's a standard that IB World puts on school districts who offer the IB diploma program. So you have a 5-year review. When you offer the IB program after 5 years, IB comes in and reviews to make sure you're meeting their standard, that you're increasing your scores, that you're meeting the requirements of the program, and then you get IB World status.
So no other district in Iowa has had IB for 5 years. Is that what you're
Correct,
saying?
and met the standard, correct.
Okay.
Yep. Okay, AP, advanced placement courses, you can see where we're at with that. Last year we had 199 students at 2 buildings, and you can see how many exams they took. And this year our enrollment is at 242. Something we're really proud of, 9 of our AP subjects increased their average from last year. 4 of those were above the Iowa average, and 4 were above the global average. So we're really, really proud of the work that those students and teachers have done. Oh, this is exciting. So our trend continues to tick up. You can see in 2023, this is the percentage of the total AP students who scored 3, 4s, or 5s. So remember, in the world of college admittance, that is sort of what we call the cherry on top. They get all the great learning, but if they get that 3, 4, or 5, you're basically taking a CLEP with that university. But other people don't realize this. Even if a student gets a 1 or a 2, that's considered a like an aptitude test. So the college is going to put a student, because they sat for a year in AP, in a higher or more advanced course. So even if it's not CLEPT, it really tailors to that student's aptitude, and not everybody understands that. And Waterloo Schools and the board has always committed to every student can take the AP exam for free, which is a really big deal as far as access for our students. So very excited. The 3-year trend you can see for both East and West is ticking up. West is above the national average. I mean, that's a big deal. That's a big, big deal. So we're very, very proud of that. And then concurrent high school and Waterloo Career Center. So the enrollment for this fall, you can see how many high school liberal arts. So those are the ones that are East and West High School. So statistics, U.S. History 2, Comp 1, Comp 2, and Fundamentals of Oral Communication. And then these are the top 6 courses from East High enrollment, West High enrollment, and Expo Alternative from last year. So we get the stats. That's why I always have a fall update. So you can see the scores and the stats from the previous year. So you can see average credits earned and the top 6 that we have there. The lighter blue are liberal arts, and the darker blue are CTE. So you can see, and I put it in a ranking of 6, but it's actually the top 3 liberal arts and the top 3 CTE courses. So you can see across there the courses that a lot of our students end up selecting. Fundamentals of oral communication, composition 1 and 2. Lots of times we have most of our kids going to Iowa State or UNI for the state school, and that gives them the rhetoric credit. So quite often you'll see students who are taking those courses. I'll give you a little time to digest that. And then you can see up in the top left-hand corner, that's our enrollment for this school year as of now. We continue to have kids who will be taking classes in the spring, so they weren't counted in the fall enrollment. But then in the spring, you'll see what the enrollment was from last year on that demographics document that I added.
So what's the difference between the introduction to criminal justice under East there and the intro to criminal, whatever that is?
Investigations, they're 2 different courses. So in the program of studies, those are 2 different courses, but still in that same pathway.
Okay.
Okay, and then of course, we also have something for everybody. We have PSEO and PSEO classes. Last year, we ended up with 17 seniors taking 1 or more classes at UNI's campus. These are for the kids that are ready to really just get out and be on campus. So far this fall, we have 8 seniors who are taking classes at UNI, and I think I received 4 more today because the window's going to open for spring enrollment. So I would see that number probably doubling or tripling. Those are their top requests. You can see there. And remember, those classes are unique. And it's their senior year because they've exhausted everything else, or they want to take a course that we don't offer but is in high demand. So you can see their Intro to Sociology is a very, very popular course. We don't have someone who teaches it, so that's one of the UNI options.
We did at one point, didn't we?
We did, but we don't have anybody certified at this time. I keep watching that. Every year I talk to the social studies department chairs. And then Calculus 2, you do have to get a 3 or higher on the AP, but that's a popular one. And this one is my favorite. We don't have world language American Sign in the schools, nor do we have a staff who could teach it, but that's been a popular one kids take at UNI, and a really important one.
So we can't find a qualified instructor?
To teach American Sign Language?
No, to teach.
Intro to Soc?
Yeah.
They have to have so many years beyond. So every year we have regular Intro to Soc, Lyle. I'm talking about the concurrent, the college Intro to Sociology. So that does require so many years beyond a master's. And so I check with our high school department chairs every year to see if we have somebody certified.
But is that common that we just drop a course if we don't
Well, we
find an
have
instructor rather than hire an instructor?
we have Intro to Sociology as a high school option. And as far as a college option, we just keep watching to see if we have somebody who would have that certification. And that's why we still have that class offered. So kids still take Intro to Sociology. It's not as if they don't have an option to take it. It's just at UNI instead of through Hawkeye. So they can still get that class. So we always look for, if we can't offer it because we don't have a staff, how else can they get that credit if they need to? And that's where the PSEO classes come in handy.
Do we help staff who, I remember like when Mr. Cassidy was getting his accreditation to teach a college course. Do we help teachers who are doing that, or how does that work?
No.
We don't, okay.
Okay, and then I already told you this one. This is super cool. So we have a young lady who's 16, and she already started college, and she's at the University of Iowa. She skipped in a full grade in elementary school, and I talked with her. I think there's 24 students in her class. So 24 students, not just from Iowa, but all over who went through the application process to be Bucksbaum early entrance candidates. So that's really, really cool. First year. And then these were just some additional highlights. You can see how many flagged students we have for gifted education, which is very consistent with the average. Average is anywhere from 6 to 8% of the population's identified as gifted and talented, and we go through multiple criteria. We also have twice exceptional. This is really happy. I just met with the Waterloo Schools Foundation. They've established an endowment, and that endowment's going to allow us to continue to buy curriculum, to go through training, and to provide opportunities for those students who are flagged as 2E. And we have 56 right now that we work with. And the roster teachers are gifted ed teachers because they run their strengths instead of looking at areas that they might struggle with. And then the biliteracy seal last year, we ended up with 25 of our students receive the seal. And the National Clearinghouse data came out, so I was able to add this into our meeting. You can see how many graduates out of 538 enrolled in college this last fall. How many of those students attended a 4-year? How many attended a 2-year? And the freshman to sophomore retention, this is what we always follow too. So this is a student who enrolled the first year enrolled in either a 2 or a 4-year and came back and enrolled anywhere for a second year. So that's what that retention. And we really follow those trend lines to try to find out if they're not coming back, what are they doing? If they're going into the workforce, would that be an area we really want to build up work-based learning and not have it necessarily be a 2-year, but an option to then go into the workforce and get some industry recognized credentials. So 91% of the 4-year students from the previous year returned. So we only have 9% attrition, which is huge. That's above the national average. And then 2-year colleges, 70% return. That's our Waterloo students going to a 2-year. So there's about a 30% attrition rate. That's better than the year before. The year before we were at 39% attrition, where students weren't enrolling anywhere year 2. So we do really hope that students, if they do go on to a 2-year, especially our neighbor, because we have so many concurrent, we'd love for them to finish that 2-year pathway with Hawkeye Community College if that's their path.
So does the clearinghouse have the percentage that get a degree?
I can do like the 4-year trends. I can pull that for you, Lyle. Probably, we can be pretty similar. If I think I could. I think I could figure out. It's not just, I'll have to go back through and look at it. It'll show like 4 and 5 years back. So I might be able to. Let me find that out.
My other question is, what's the state average of the post-secondary that go to a
So I think
college
You mean the kids at UNI? The PSEO?
in Iowa? We're at 46% of our graduates enroll in college.
Oh, I can get you those stats.
What's the state average?
I'll look it up for you. It's a good question.
Hey, Lyle, if I'm correct, with the National Student Clearinghouse, they collect data all the way up to 6 years.
Mm-hmm.
So that's
We can follow it.
Yeah, we
Yep.
should be able to follow
Yeah.
that.
I'll get that for you.
Appreciate it. Thank you.
And then this one, I always want it to be the closest to the numbers that we have, so I pulled it this morning. So here's where we're at in all of our college classes. This is our demographics, and this was just pulled today from our Tableau. On the left column, you can see the percentage of students within each of those race ethnicities, and that's our 9th and 12th graders. Now, keep in mind, most of AP and IB, liberal arts concurrent, those are usually 11th and 12th graders. Some of the concurrent classes are 10th graders. We might have occasional 9th graders who start taking some of the CTE concurrent classes, but the lion's share is really 11th and 12th. So the number to the left is the percentage right now in the Waterloo schools of each race and ethnicity. And that's 9th through 12th. And then if you look across, you can see where we match up with the percentage. So if you look at each demographic, you can see where we're at with those enrollments. And then I put the male, female, and then the total numbers at the bottom. So I'll let you have time to just look at that.
I know last year we commented on this, the disparity between males and females. It looks like at the WCC it's closing a lot. Do you think we could just kind of track that trend too, for all of them?
Yep.
And maybe ask kids what the reasoning is?
Actually, every one of those, I'll share the one from last year.
Okay.
We're getting closer for every one of those college experiences. We're getting closer to being more balanced.
Not on the males and females.
It's from last year. We have.
That's, yeah. I was
We're getting
thinking that's the
closer.
trend.
But that's a huge discrepancy.
It's
That has a lot of impact on our society.
so what I'll do, I'll go ahead and I'll take what our male and female right now percentages are at the high schools. I'll take that for now, and then I will compare these from the last 3-year trend because we are getting closer. There was more disparity last year and even more disparity the year before that. So they're getting closer. And I also want to know what our male and female percentage of enrollment is in high school too, because that's what you're comparing it against.
Right.
Yeah.
And
It's 50-50.
I haven't
is.
looked.
It's very
Waterloo
close.
might be a lady town. I don't know. It would, and it would just be
Good
interesting
place to move.
try to find
Too.
out maybe what some of the reasons are
Yeah.
that kids have, especially, you know, kids that if a counselor thinks that this kid could take it and they're not. I just had a question about the IB.
Yep.
What will happen when we combine the high school? Like, do you have to create a whole new charter, or how does that all work?
Well, this lovely lady behind me, she'll work on the authorization. It's better because we're merging and we're now dissolving 2 schools. It's a harder process if like right now, and this came to the board a couple of years ago about putting IB out at the WCC location, that would have taken a lot of work. When I authorized IB 12 years ago, that's what I got hired to do when I came down to the district office. It took a year of getting everyone trained and going through the process. They come from IB International. We had folks from Canada come and do an authorization. But now I'm going to talk to my coordinator and she can give you the legit. Oh, you got up. I didn't think you were going to. Wow.
I'm usually, I don't like to have my face in front of things, but I will tell you that if it proceeds as planned, that's very good because that will actually be on our 5-year plan. And then I don't have to go through the authorization process again. But if we would get off and not open in the fall of 28, then I would have to go ahead and redo that entire process again. So I'm hoping we can stay on track.
We are. And then I have the students and staff here. You really want to hear from them.
We do.
This is who it's about.
We see you all the time.
That's right. You're
And will you share your slideshow with us?
Yeah.
Don't be shy. They don't bite. So can we get, for the students, can we get name, school, grade, and what you want to hear, plans?
These are all
What do
IB,
you-
or is this like a crop? Okay.
What do you like most? What do you like most about the program?
Hi, I'm Lorelai Graveman. I'm a senior at Waterloo East. And I would say my favorite thing about IB is the connections I make, not only with my peers and classmates, with my teachers as well. I feel like my teachers are really, and Miss Shea, the coordinator, they're all really good at, since our cohort is a lot smaller, there's, I think, 10 of us full DP at East. They're really able to give us that one-on-one. That is something I really need.
Hi, I'm Chance Shaw. I also go to Waterloo East. I'm a senior, and my favorite part about IB is probably just the college readiness aspect of it. I feel like before IBA, I wasn't quite getting the challenge I needed, and IB has allowed me to work myself and even struggle, but that has helped me grow.
My name is Zelfie Dixon. I'm a senior at West High School. And what I like about the programs is that there's a lot of options. So I've taken like a mix of AP, IB, and concurrent. And I like that I can just pick whatever like fits me best, like depending on the subjects.
Yeah, right. Oh gosh. My name is Emily Eisenman, and I teach primarily at West fundamentals of oral comm, IB theater, IB theory of knowledge, and I work with the 2E students, and I also teach FOC over at East. My favorite part of working in all of those is one, getting to challenge the students and seeing them grow. And then also being able to dive deeper myself into those fields and learning along with the students. So I tell my IB kids, I didn't have IB when I was in high school, and sometimes I'm jealous of them that they get this experience. And so I enjoy being able to learn alongside them.
Real quick, what do you find is the most rewarding or the most challenging with 2E? I had one of the first 2E kids in the district, so I just curious as to what that feels like.
Oh gosh. One of the most rewarding things is just getting to see them blossom at the high school level. And this year, our seminar is 5th hour, which is the lunch period. So I get 50 minutes a day with them. And so just getting to know them and them getting to that age where they've kind of figured themselves out. So it's like other people just need to figure out who I am, which can then also be a challenge because sometimes they think, why do my teachers just not get me? So helping them with that.
I'm Matt Tracy. I teach AP Lang and Composition, IB Lang and Lit, and IB Theory of Knowledge and ELP. And I'm also a father of an IB diploma graduate, and he's a senior now at Iowa State, and he's a double major and he has a minor, and he's graduating in 4 years. And he says that's all because of IB. I'm seeing these students go through it right now. The time management that they have to develop is crazy. The demands are heavy, but when he got to college, he was kind of bored, because he was used to it. And I think that's really important. When I talk to a lot of the IB grads, they not only are doing well in college, but they're also heavily involved. One of our first graduates, Noelle Mills, she became the president of the student body at the University of Iowa, and she was fantastic. There are students who are involved in all sorts of
She has her master's now too.
activities. Yeah, and Andrew's planning on going for his master's, and we see that a lot with the IB students. Jocelyn Nichols is working on her master's right now. There are many who do that. So the benefit of the program is astounding, and I've been involved in this since the beginning, and I'm very, very thankful that the district has committed to it and continues to, because it's amazing what it does for our students who need that. So thank you.
I don't know who can answer this question, but what is your pathways to IB? When does this process kind of start for a student within the district? And who starts that process with them?
I can talk about at the high school level, and they can talk about the middle school level. So a lot of students, I suppose the path starts in middle school, but when they get to high school, we have a number of students, for instance, who are in advanced math classes and advanced English classes. They're probably on the more streamlined track to get into IB. Mrs. Shea comes around and talks to the students multiple times over the years, to the point that the students kind of know what she's going to say. So there's conversations with students throughout. You don't have to be in that advanced track. We've had students who jumped over AP and because they didn't get a chance to take it their sophomore year and still took the IB courses. We have a senior right now who did that. So I guess I would say there's kind of a efficient track through the advanced programming, but there are other avenues if students want to get in. It's open access, which is really important. Yep.
Does each student in IB still do a research paper?
Yeah.
Maybe you guys should answer.
What's your topic?
So throughout IB, we write a numerous IAs for each class, which is like an individual assessment. It's just a paper for each class over a topic of your choice, and then we have to write the overarching extended essay, which starts at the beginning of our junior year. We start the research, and then right now, actually, in your senior year is whenever you're supposed to have your rough draft written, and then you continue to work on like the final touches that you'll turn in.
So what's your paper?
My paper, my extended essay is about how the integration of the MLB has pushed the civil rights movement, and I'm doing it over history, of course.
And yours?
Instead of talking about my EE, I would rather talk about my history IA that I'm working on right now, because I am writing about the desegregation efforts within the Waterloo schools. I actually emailed you about that last week, and I'm learning a lot of new stuff that I would have never even thought of.
I'm not a full IB diploma kid, so I don't have an extended essay like they do. But I'm in IB English, and something I worked on is talking about like through different texts how art can be used to like enforce political power and public beliefs. So
Thank you.
Is there,
I would say I would love to read the papers once they're done. I don't know how we can get our hands on those, but I would love to get that knowledge as well. So,
All of the extended essays are actually in the libraries.
okay, awesome.
I just want to just kind of commend you with the IB courses. I'm definitely a great fan and proponent of IB. I guess one of the questions is there any way of possibly being able to expand it? I think Director Matlock mentioned about the process of how to get students in. Have we really looked at that? Because, I think that number can expand. I think we have the talent here in this district. And so I think that's something that, as time goes on, we have to expand this if we're going to keep this. So that's something that you guys are the trailblazers. I'm behind you. I love it. Back in my recruiting days, that IB students was my first choice. I always went after IB schools, and so I know what you've gone through or going through. So congratulations, and just want to mention that comment about the possible looking at expanding it.
Yeah, that was part of my question as well. Do you seek them or do they seek you? Knowing students coming in that are in some of those advanced classes, do you, through counselors, seek those students, or is it more of those students wanting that extra challenge? You mentioned about students being bored, or your son being bored when he gets. So is it?
I guess I would
Where's
say
the-
it's a mix. There are certainly students so in my AP classes, for instance, when the sophomores that I have in there show up, I start having conversations with them pretty early if I think they're good candidates for the IB classes. But there are a couple students who have shown up and said, I'm doing AB or IB, when can I start? And they want to start before their junior year even. So it's a mix, I would say. I do think, in answer to your question, and I don't want to speak for everyone, but I agree that the program should expand. We have tons of students who are capable of doing it. I think oftentimes our advanced students are so good at so many different things that they want to do everything. So when we become one school, I think that's going to really help, because right now we have kids who so badly want to do stuff at the WCC that there's a trade-off. And so they go there instead of taking an IB course, and when they aren't traveling, that should help. Certainly for the students who want to take, one or two IB courses.
And I'm sorry when I interrupted you with Noel. I just get really excited.
No,
when I
that's
talk
all
about-
right.
But it's funny because she said the same thing your son did her first year, and she was in the honors program at Iowa, and she's like, geez, this is a skate after, being in IB was the first time she had to study, so.
I also wanted to just add, so one of the classes I teach is IB theater, and that does not have a specific pre-IB pathway. So at West and East, we have theater arts 1 and 2, which are each semester long classes that students can take at any grade. But that's not necessarily a prerequisite to take IB theater. So for example, currently in my senior cohort, there's one student who is in the full diploma program, and the rest of the students are course candidates. And some of them had not even been involved in theater as an extracurricular until they took IB theater, but they were curious, they wanted to try it, they added it, and they're doing quite well in the class. So there are some students that definitely take the pathway, but we also open it up.
Are there kids who take IB theater and that's their only IB class because they're theater kids?
Yes, there are some of those, yeah.
All right. Thank you, staff, students. Told you that was pretty good. You guys are seasoned in your education, of course, and very articulate coming up to speak. So keep pushing. Finish out the semester and the year strong. We're proud of you from the board. Are there any more questions for these students? All right, great job. Keep it up. Thank you. That brings us to the next item on our agenda, item 7, which is the consent agenda. Tonight's consent agenda consists of 4 items. Item 1, approval of minutes of the October 13th, 2025 regular board meeting. Item 2, personnel appointments and adjustments. Item 3, bills due and payable and bills paid between board meetings. And item 4, set date of public hearing for sale or disposal of real property. Are there any items that board members want to see removed? Okay. Seeing none, can I get a motion to put items 1, 2, 3, and 4 on the table?
So moved.
Second.
Got it. Just fight over it. Chris, okay. All right. All those in favor of approving the superintendent's recommendation, state aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Chair votes aye. Motion carried. That brings us to the next item on our agenda. Item 8, SBRC modified allowable growth request, WCC new program startup costs. It is the superintendent's recommendation that the Board of Education approve the school budget review committee request for modified allowable growth of $383,905.64 for the first year startup costs associated with the Waterloo Career Center programs for 2024-2025. And we have JT Anderson here to talk a little bit more about this and give us some details.
Sure. So if you were on the board way back in February of 2021, you would have gone through this process and approved a similar item. But basically, when we're talking about spending authority, you've heard that term. It's one of the more important financial metrics that we deal with. And really, School Finance 101 is you want to maintain or preserve spending authority as much as you can. And there are certain reasons that you can go and get authority from the SBRC. We talked about it a month or so ago about special ed deficit, ELL deficit. We get that authority back from the SBRC. Well, another item is related to new program startup costs. And last year we had actually 5 programs that were new, but one of them was a reboot. So we had already actually got that authority way back in 2021. So that is not included in this. So we're talking about the 4 programs. In the exhibit, you'll see it's agri-science, the Power Tech Academy, criminal justice, and cosmetology. And what we can do is all of those costs that we spent on those programs last year, we can apply to the SBRC to get that authority back. And that's what that total number is, that $383,905.64. So the first step in the process is for the board to approve the request, and then we actually have to send these exhibits to the SBRC and then actually have a hearing in December and kind of plead our case of why we need that authority back. So that this is, again, just the first step in that journey. Any questions about that?
It's just a normal thing, like it's just the same as we did before. There's nothing.
Yeah.
different.
Yep.
Any questions? All right. So all those in favor of approving the superintendent's recommendation, state aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Chair votes aye. Motion carried. Thanks, JT, for that. The next item on our agenda is board policy changes, second reading. It is the superintendent's recommendation that the Board of Education approve the following policies: program for talented and gifted students, instruction at a post-secondary educational institution, and online courses.
Second.
The following policies have been reviewed by the district leadership team and the policy review committee and are being presented for second reading. The policies were presented for first reading on October 13th, 2025. Item number 604.03, program for talented and gifted students. Item 604.06, instruction at a post-secondary educational institution. And item 604.10, online courses. And our own Pam Arndorfer is here to answer any questions on these board policy second reading.
Yeah. How many students do we have taking online courses?
Yeah.
Yeah, would you know?
Virtually right now we have over 200 students that are taking the virtual classes. Lydia has the actual number that we could get you, but we're just over 200.
But is that a class here or there to supplement, or is it they don't come to school at all?
They don't come to school at all. That's all virtual, so they're not on campus at all.
But we do have kids who do one-off, like we have kids from like the some of the private schools who do WCC classes virtually as well, right? So there's.
Are those the same? Is that the same? We talked about that last board meeting.
Correct. That would be a separate number, but yes, you are correct, Stacy, that we do. Yep.
Policy.
What Sharice had referenced at the last board meeting are those numbers.
So most of them come over out of the qualification number one. Although it's offered in high school, a virtual education setting will be more conducive to the student's individual learning needs. Is that the lion's share of those fall under that category?
Yes, they are based on individual needs, and some of those are health and medical doctor excuses on why they would pursue an actual virtual space versus on campus, or any of the credit recovery that we would offer at Expo, etc. We open that window, I want to say late April, and it runs through early June for those who would like to apply, and they're based on, again, individual needs. Once that window closes, we ask for just permission from whether a doctor or medical to just state some of the rationale and why, because we know that we want our students in front of us because that keeps them engaged, but there are some unique circumstances that we offer the virtual option, and that would be that for these specific students.
On item number 2, it says course is offered, the student's not able to do it because of a scheduling conflict, but then it's a qualified scheduling conflict that would keep the student from meeting graduation requirements. So how do we implement, if a student wants to take a course, become more proficient in a certain area, but they're going to have enough credits to graduate anyway, they're not qualified under this provision?
I think this says that if it's an unavoidable scheduling conflict,
Yeah.
that they would be able to.
So say it's an unavoidable scheduling conflict, because they're in band and whatever.
But this, the way it reads, they're allowed to take it if it's an unavoidable scheduling conflict that
Only
would
if
keep the student from
only if
graduating
it-
from graduation. Yeah,
only
only
if
if it's
not
only if
take-
only if they wouldn't be able to graduate because of the
Right.
class.
So why would we resist, even if they can graduate it and wanted to take it? I don't know. It's just
Yeah.
Yeah, that would really be a Charisse question. We can pull this off and answer questions and bring it back.
well, I don't know
Again.
how often that happens.
Yeah.
It may be rare, but it just seems. And maybe that could fall under one. It just seems like the only reason you're allowed to take it is if you wouldn't graduate. If you don't, seems a little bit like
But are you referring to a student that is taking in-person classes at any other point?
Yeah, I'm assuming the students taking in-person classes
But I think this
wants to supplement that with a higher level. It wouldn't be higher level.
yeah.
All right.
But I think this only refers to students that are virtually online, unless it stops them from graduating. It gives them the option, just that one option.
Yeah. Okay. Well, it says although it's offered at the high. All right. I'm okay. It's probably a distinction without a difference.
Is this just like if they need this math credit and this specific history credit to graduate, and so they're offered the one online so that they can get it so they graduate on time? But I do understand what Lyle's saying, that there may be a time where you have a kid who wants to do yearbook and paper if they're at the same time. I'm just throwing it out there, but when we're at one high school, hopefully
Well,
those things.
Well, I'm just looking at it from an access standpoint for us to be able to follow through with them getting their diploma. So this is just ways for them to be able to tweak it here or tweak it there and get where they need to get their diploma, instead of having some criterias or standards or preliminary courses that you have to take to get to X, Y, and Z. This kind of allows the door for a student to be able to still get the required courses for them to get their diploma. And this is more of an opening door versus a closing door.
And by graduation requirements, I'm assuming that means a standard diploma. Graduating with a standard diploma.
Could
This-
possibly be a core diploma too, though.
Yeah. This doesn't
I don't
count
think
like
it limits-
PBDA kids, right, Amy?
Okay.
I don't think it limits.
This is
It's probably a core diploma as well.
So they can choose what diploma they want to graduate in, and this complies with their goal. That's all right.
Okay.
But I do want to take this comment, take this opportunity to share. I like what Jonathan said about access, like opportunity, right? Like I was just, as you're talking, Lyle, I looked up the number. I probably need to be louder. The number of students open enrolling out to a virtual academy. Do you guys have any idea what that number is this year? Open enrolling out. I'm putting you guys a little quiz
To
back.
like a Clayton or
Like Iowa, there's like basically three options that our kids have. So all combined, do you know how many students we lose to virtual? I just looked at it. So this is hot off the press.
all right.
3.
60.
I said 75.
60. 60 kids
Yeah.
are choosing to open enroll to virtual. That's been a hot topic of ours internally is how do we pivot? How do we provide an opportunity? You know, we do a lot of, you mentioned the virtual options that we offer. It looks a little bit different than what the other, this is not, we can dig into it deeper. But a couple other urban districts have made the change. They're creating their own virtual academies. And we've actually reached out to one, Amy or CC'd on to, it was a hot topic at our superintendent's meeting last week. And so we've reached out to one of the districts to ask them how they have made that change. So just as you're talking about that, and I love what it says about alternatives, providing you just heard alternatives and IB, right?
Correct.
We give that to certain students. And so, and we'll dig into more enrollment numbers, a little bit during my comments, but
Yeah, this is, you know, when I look at this is literally a plus, not a negative. Having this down allows us to be able to, quote unquote, meet the needs of a student in a special circumstance. And so instead of having policy of saying, oh, no, we can't do this, guess what? They're going to go somewhere else. And so I think the fact that, you know, you're looking at possibly that online academy within our district, I think that would be wise.
Don't we already call it that though?
so no promises on this.
I mean,
Maybe
don't we,
shouldn't have
but
said
I mean,
anything.
don't we already
Maria,
call?
be careful there, okay?
Don't we already
we
call?
offer, but it's more of a.
I mean, I thought that's what it was, that we call it that now.
Yeah, it's what we the virtual, but it's more of a at your own pace. So what the other districts have set up is like the teachers in front of you.
Okay.
Right, or the teachers right now. It's kind of most of it is secondary level, high school level at least, is more just at your own pace.
Okay.
With some teacher assistance,
Right.
But the other is like you got your teacher for all the different course, all different
So more like
areas.
what was during COVID. Yeah.
Yeah, it's more self-directed. And I think to Dr. Smith's point is we learned some things, after COVID, right? We lost some students and we learned to teach in a different platform, which was, a struggle for not only staff, but for students. After COVID hits and we go through this, we are finding there are more students that is a way of learning that they are feeling more comfortable with. And so what's causing us to do is just look internally to make sure that those options were out there, because I think probably 4 years ago, we would have really hesitated having virtual options as a whole, because again, we want our students in person to be able to keep them engaged, right? Keep them involved. But what we are learning through those numbers, again, having over 200 at this point in time right now, that we're getting into that saying, hey, there is another way to ensure that students can learn and have access for these opportunities. Going back to what Dr. Smith said, we have 4 certified staff and then 2 that are strategists that support these over 200 students. And so it's not every day that you're logging in with somebody. You are self-directed at your self-pace. And then these staff are monitoring just how often they're engaging, their success, et cetera, and then setting up meetings with them to ensure that they're still making progress. But it's harder when you're not, meeting with someone every day. So we're just learning some things about that and exploring that from our department as well.
Jared, I think one of them is that K-12, or that's one of the options they can use, right? The K-12 online. That it would be. Are those self-paced too, or are those one-on-one? How about we talk about it later?
Yeah, I'm not.
Yeah,
I'm not
yeah,
even
let's-
knowledgeable.
let's-
I'm trying to get.
let's make a
I just
decision
wanna-
on-
I just
let's
want to
make a
sure
decision
you
on-
got your-
All the board policies. Yep. Nope, that's fine. That's fine. So are there any more questions on the policy, the second reading of the policy? Are we comfortable voting on this, or does anything need to be amended? All right. So all those in favor of approving the superintendent's recommendation state aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Chair votes aye, motion carried. So that ends our action items for the evening. And now on to the superintendent's report.
Okay. A few quick updates. I always like to bring you, we got 3 goal areas as a district: attendance, culture, and achievement. And I've got two updates for you right now. One is that our attendance, we're still ahead of pace from last year. I'll give you another trivia question. Okay, you guys are liking these. Okay, which school in the district right now, I think Amy's this right, has the best chronic absenteeism rate? What school in the district right now?
Is it Lowell, or did they have the biggest improvement?
Not Lowell. Not
Hold
Lowell.
on. Elementary? You said elementary?
Yeah, I don't know if I said elementary, but it is elementary.
Okay.
Got 11 options.
Got 11 options.
All right.
You know, I'm just going to urban.
Okay, good guess. Not it. Good guess.
Cunningham.
Not Cunningham. Good guess. Not Kingsley. Good guess.
Kitchen.
Becker. It is Highland. Highland currently has the best chronic absenteeism rate. We gave Matt some credit there. So you got 94% free and reduced rate in that building, and their chronic absenteeism is below 10%. So so attendance is year over year. We're looking good. We're up about 2%. Hot off the press today. And I want to be careful not to share all the information, but our culture survey came back, and we are up from last spring. So more to be shared on that, but our climate scores are up. We've got those signs up around the district for our the award that we won as well. So some good things going there. I don't want to steal your thunder, but I'm going to talk about our 7 All-Staters on music. So 7 All-State musicians, which is a really good number for us. I forget the breakdown. You're probably planning on sharing that.
Yeah, I was. And what I want to say really quick about it is this is a really adult thing that they have chosen to do. They have to learn 3 college etudes that are picked during the summer. They have to be prepared to play, picked by the committee. Everybody auditions on the same ones. They have to learn all 12 major scales on their instrument. And when they go to the audition, the judges pick, okay, everybody's going to do A flat, major scale, and you gotta play 2 octaves of it. You don't know which one of the 12 they're gonna pick, and this is a blind audition. There's a screen up, there's judges behind the screen. When I was doing this in Texas as a teacher, all the kids that are auditioning are in the room together, so they each hear each other audition. And for us to have had one on trumpet, which is one of the very hardest instruments to make because it's very popular, alto sax, which is another one of those, and also clarinet, which is another one of those very popular instruments, and French horn, and an alternate on trombone, which if somebody breaks a leg or whatever, he might get in too. But we won't wish for those things for any child. But and I don't know as much about the orchestra or the choir, but I do know that we got some kids in that way too. And so what happens here sorry for the long-winded explanation, but at the music convention that happens in the spring in Des Moines, where all the music educators meet and go to conferences and learn, the kids come in with their directors. They stay at a hotel for 2 days. They work on some really highfalutin college level literature in rehearsals all day for 2 days. And then they perform this concert for all of the music educators and friends and family. And it's such a unique experience, and they put themselves through so much, even if you don't make it, to audition for this, that it is just a really neat thing that we're able to do. And we're really blessed to have these musicians and the teachers that got them there.
So is there a set quality standard, or do X number of trombones in the state make?
Yep. Okay. So I was split into 4, Northeast, Southeast. Yeah. And rather than do a prelim and a final, they just pick a certain number from each quad to go on. So I don't know what the numbers for that are, but that's what they do.
You yielded your time, Dr. Smith.
I guess I did. I said I didn't want to steal. Well, I didn't want to steal your thunder, but I think it just, yeah.
You can reclaim your time.
So I'm good. Then Conferences Week, which you may be referring to, Conferences Week this week. We'd love for our parents to come. We've got some great attendance rates at those, and take this opportunity to come and meet with your students, your child's teachers, and get all the updates. So thank you.
You sure we can come back to you too?
No, good.
Okay. All right. Thank you, Dr. Smith. Tonight we'll start with board comments from Director Matlock.
Thank you. I just want to do a big shout out to Principal Hart at Kittrell and Principal Barnett at Carver for welcoming me on Friday with open arms when I visited. We went in classes. I got all my steps in on Friday when I when Principal Hart had me walking around Kittrell, then we went to the annex and we came back. So I mean, it was great. I really hope the teachers did mine. Some of the students wanted to show me their binders that they were getting prepared for, conferences and stuff. So that was just really awesome. And then Principal Barnett, he didn't know I was coming, so that was kind of a surprise. But he took me around. I was kind of lost. I'm not sure how Carver set up, but he was, kind of showing me the ropes there. And so we had a really good conversation about, potentially what Carver's going to look like, maybe with 6-7, like with the opportunities that are coming. No, I'm just saying it was really good conversation. Oh.
I'll tell you about it.
Oh, I'm sorry. Did I miss something? Oh.
It's the kids thing right now.
Oh, I forgot. Dang. I saw that video. I'm sorry. 6-7. Okay. All right. So yes, we had a good conversation about that. I should have brought that up to him. I wasn't on my toes. Dang it. Anyway, so we had a really good conversation about the infinite possibilities that could happen at Carver, once it changes schools and stuff. So it was just really a good time to spend. And I just really appreciate them. And I just want to keep up the great work that you were doing. That you're doing now and with our students. And I truly believe that everyone in those buildings have an impact. When I walked in the door, to the people that were greeting, at the front desk and just walking through the hallways, everyone has an impact on our kids, and just keep up the great work. Thank you.
Thank you, Director Matlock. I don't know what that is either, so I don't. But thank you for the update. Director Cox.
I just want to give kudos to the students that are the students in our district that are answering the call of being on time, doing the right things and that kind of thing. So I think that, I think sometimes we need to, as a board member, I just want to recognize our students of the ones that are doing the right things, the parents that are getting them there on time. You know what? Congratulations to you. And let's keep that up, because that's how we're going to be able to make this district the way you would like it from that. Another thing is I'm going to put a challenge out there. I'm going to put a challenge out there to the parents. I'm putting a challenge out there to the parents when it comes to these conferences coming up. It is time for us to put a little bit more time into our kids' endeavors when it comes to academics. So I'm challenging parents that normally wouldn't to take 30 minutes. It's 30 minutes. 30 minutes of your time. Total of 45 back and forth. 45 minutes of just getting into your child's world so you can have a more realistic view, regardless if they're a good student or a student that might be a little bit challenging. So I'm throwing a challenge out there to our parents, because, as a district, I think we are really trying our best to answer the challenge of, we want to do better as a district. Teachers want to do better. Administrators want to do better. Everyone that the schools that would like to do better. So I just throw that challenge out there. And then lastly, I just want to all the kids that are participating in, the band, the sports. We're going to transition into our winter sports. This is part of your high school experience that you need to experience. So I just want to just throw that out there, because I think a lot of times we can get so isolated and we find ourselves not being involved when we need to be involved as young adults. This is part of the like I said, the experience that you need to have in order for you to be able to look at what you might want to become. So I'm just throwing some challenges out there, some kudos, some not 6-7s, but go from there.
Yeah, they gonna have to put me on that one. All right. Thank you, Director Cox. Director Mills.
So thank you to our kids who came to visit today. It's always exciting when we have kids here, and it's always cool to hear the amazing things they do. It kind of scares me, some of the stuff that they can do. Like I wouldn't have been quite there. And thank you to everyone who stays around to the end of these meetings. They're very long. And so we see you. Thank you to Amy and Jared for letting me do some visits during the PD day. I was able to go and sit with our regional librarians. And then I kind of just meandered through Lou Henry over to Hoover and got to stop in some buildings there. So it was great. Got to talk to some middle school CTE teachers. Just having those conversations makes it gives me the ability to feel plugged in and lets them know that there's transparency with the board, that there's transparency with their district leadership team. So thank you for doing that. Everywhere I've been going. So last week I had 2 funerals. Yeah, anyway, but people know that I'm on the board, and it's interesting how many people are talking about the school, and I'm not hearing a lot of negativity. Like it really is a lot of positives and a lot of, hey, when can I get a shirt? So those conversations are happening. I asked a lot about cell phones everywhere I've been, and every staff member so far has come back with pretty positive feedback. And the kids aren't saying much negative either. It doesn't seem like they're having the issues, that maybe you would expect. So, and I mean, it's just a sampling, but it made me happy, to hear that. One thing that I have heard and that we all know is that staff are looking very forward to what things we'll look at when we move to having K-5, middle school, junior high, and then the one high school. So like where positions will be. And I know that Dr. Smith is working on that in his team. Finally, if anyone else would like to have me come visit, please email me. I'll come anytime I can. So yeah, thank you.
Thank you, Director Mills. Director Ewing. All right. Okay. Thank you. Director Schmidt.
Yeah, first of all, I'd just like to second Jonathan's point about attending conferences. These kids, no matter how young, pick up very quickly on how important education is in the eyes of their parents and family. So it might be a little bit inconvenient, but it's huge. So I second your point. The other thing, if you notice the past few meetings, including tonight, the common theme was things will work better, especially in the elective course area, when we're all at one high school. And so it's just really nice to see that people are planning ahead and thinking ahead and planning forward to those days. So it's important to start this, especially like with the IB program. How do you mesh those? That's a perfect example. Anyway, it's just good to see, and it just, I think, reinforces the decision that was made. It seems like every single thing, even the enrollment data, points to we're going to be a lot better off in 2028. That's all.
Thank you, Director Schmidt. I just have a few things. Thank you to the students and staff for coming. The IB, AP programs, advanced programming, Sharice and all she does, and her team. With that, it reminds me of things that we've talked about in the past, and having something for every student. And the word board was mentioned twice. I was bored as a student, but it wasn't because I was reaching this educational level that it wasn't challenging enough. But I get it. I get it. And when we're talking about the one high school, we're just talking about the community as a whole. We have so many different students and families from all walks of life. And that's going to require us to be innovative and to think outside the box if we want to really support and challenge all of our students. So those programs, the advanced programming, whether it be music, whether it be theater, whether it's athletics, finding things for students and families to be involved in is going to be important. I always talk about, I'm at West High as well during the week, and at one point they had, I don't know, over 40 something clubs and organizations within their building. And if they didn't have it and a student wanted to, have that brought forth, they just had to have a sponsor. So I think about 3 years ago, it was some students coming to the IMC and they started playing chess. So they started a chess club. Those are things that I'm thinking about when it comes to the one high school, just being able to provide, whatever for those students. Because I guarantee you there's some students out there that know what they want, but don't know how to, navigate to get it. So I'll second what Lyle said and what Jonathan said as well, but with Lyle, with the thought of the one school, more and more, it's starting to feel like we're doing the right things, and duplication of programs and the numbers of people participating in different things. So I'm excited about the journey ahead. A couple of dates I want to get out there. The next conferences starts tomorrow. Is it 4 to 8 tomorrow? 4 to 7:30? Okay, conferences tomorrow, 4 to 7:30 in the buildings. On October 30th, there will be no school, and conferences are from, I see it here, off to the side. Conferences will be 12 to 8 at the school. So no school on 10:30, which is Thursday, or 10:31 on Friday. Make sure November 4th is election day. Make sure you get out and vote. I believe that's all I have for the evening. Is there anything else? Am I forgetting anything more? All right, seeing nothing else, can I get a motion to adjourn?
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
That was quiet. All those in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Chair votes aye, motion carried. We're adjourned.